Wow, wow, wow. That's just, I say this every single time, I think, but that countdown just really gets you going there, Brock, doesn't it?
It it gets me going, all right. It's like I'm running out
Listen,
of time. I'm running out of time.
what is your alarm clock in the morning? That's what I want to know. What's your alarm clock in the morning?
So it's funny you even say that because I'm like, why do I feel so all the time like I'm racing? But my alarm is at 4:40. So like
Mhm.
I have plenty of time to get here. It's just I try to do so much in the time period I have,
Yes.
and everything is down to like the minute, and I'm weird that way. Like I don't know why. You would think that I would just be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, but I'm like, all right, I can water the plants, I can get the garden stuff taken care of, and then I can get my books ready to go because I have this thing at 11. Like I think about this in my head, I'm like, I made it.
I love so let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, with one being like just off of mute and 10 being like as loud as it can be, how loud is your alarm clock when you turn it off?
Oh, it's a vibrate. It doesn't even
It's
make any noise.
oh, so it's quiet.
Oh yeah, like yeah,
Oh,
I'm very weird. Like everything on my phone is vibrate and nothing dings, rings, bings or anything. Everything is vibrate. And yeah, so it's just I don't know, I don't know. Eric Thomas says that you should get up without an alarm clock. And I try to get excited about the day, and some days works and some days it doesn't work.
yes, 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 yes. I'm one of those people that gets up without an alarm clock because an alarm clock for me, like it creates like that, it instantly shifts my mindset into like I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And so, like, for me, it's just a little bit of a trigger. It's like, I know what I need to do because I've prepared the day and the night before. It's like,
Mhm.
I've checked in with myself. Like, I know what I need to do. But I also realize that some people do need the alarm clock and something to wake them
My
up.
body naturally wakes up between 4:19 and 4:34. I don't know why, but like it just naturally wakes up. But then I do like sometimes I close my eyes
Mhm.
and I fall back asleep for those like couple minutes and then I'm back up again.
I like it. And ladies and gentlemen, now we know more about Brock's morning routine. We know more
Chad
about
knows one
my
thing.
morning
There's
routine.
one thing that there's Mel Rip Robbins taught me this, and I'll let you continue on. But Chad, you brought this to my attention because we were talking about it at one point. But I've been doing this for about 2.5, 3 years. Is when I get up, the first thing I do, I go right to the sink and I do 3 splashes of cold water, two on my face and one in the back of my neck, which activates my reticular activator. And
Yes.
I think everybody froze, so I don't know if everybody even heard me.
No, I hear you. I still see you. Can you hear me?
Yep, everybody's frozen,
Okay.
but I still
So,
hear everybody.
well, we see you. Jada's moving. Jada's giving a two thumbs up. And one thing that, and I'm now getting fireworks. Perfect. Bam, just like that. Jada is coming to us from the hospital. So if everyone would say a prayer for his mom this morning, she is having a surgery on her back. We all know how serious those are. So keep her lifted up in prayer, all of her doctors, all of her surgeons, all of her nurses, her care team, her family, and her friends as she is going through this procedure and recovery. And I am Rebecca Black. I am going to be your host for today's session of Wednesday Wisdom. And today we are going to be talking about confidence is quiet because I firmly believe that true confidence isn't loud. It's not loud. It is a quiet leadership over yourself. And then I also want you to think about this because what if confidence isn't something that you're born with? It's something that you build. By a quick show of hands, how many people actually believe that confidence is not something that you are born with, it's something that you build. Michelle, Jada, Chad, the ones that have their videos on. Thank you guys for having your video on. You know, most people think that confidence is a personality trait, like it's something you either have or you don't have. But like Julia Roberts, one of my favorite actresses, she says that true beauty is the flame of self-confidence that shines from the inside out. And when you think about a flame, how does the flame start? It starts with a little spark. And then that little spark has to have something to ignite onto. And then once it has something to ignite onto, it needs an environment where it can continue to thrive. And so, in the world of confidence, our eyes and our ears, our environment, our conversations, our TV shows, our music, our books we listen to, our social media posts that we give attention to, those all are the environment that our spark, that flame, will either grow or it will die. And, you know, I come to know this kind of at a very early age. You know, I've shared with you guys my childhood injury. And, you know, I suffered a pretty severe childhood injury that required some surgery and some physical therapy. And the physical therapy was hurting so bad. I would scream so loud. I'm like, this is really, really hurting me. This is hurting me. They didn't believe me. They thought that I was kind of making it up. Their solution was some Valium and some codeine. Like, let's just take this 30 minutes before you go to your appointment because this is what we need to do. Like, you got some issues, girlfriend. And so one day they took it a little too far and then it cracked my femur in half. Okay. And it cracked it in half like an inch above my knee. And so it taught me that confidence is not found in others, it's found in yourself, and it's not always loud. Because just like that example there, I was very loudly saying, hey, this is really, really hurting me. I was doing the best that I can to communicate this to the powers that be. And even in our adult life, I think the thing that that taught me more than anything is that when you're telling people something's not right, I don't feel good about this doesn't align with me, you get that icky feeling. A lot of times we push that down. And we push that down because that thing called self-doubt is right here. It is right here. And it's right between, in my opinion, it's right between your heart and it's right between your head. And that's your voice. Because a lot of times your heart may want something, your head may want something, they may want two different things, and it gets choked up right here. And you feel like you never do a great job of articulating exactly what that is. And so confidence really is not about being the loudest in the room or volume. It is about certainty. It's about leadership. It's about a deep knowing and ownership over yourself, your environment, and your path in life. Because confidence is that thing that walks in the room and leaves an impression long before you ever say your first word. It is taking responsibility for yourself in every aspect. It's a very radical concept, you know, just like the executives at a company you work for or that you have worked for all of my entrepreneurs in the house. You fill every executive role, okay? And every role that you play and that somebody else plays, you are all parts of a puzzle. And it is each and every one of your jobs to be productive, to be positive, to recognize the strength in others, to recognize your own strength, and to align yourself with others who recognize your strength and call you into it. And it's also recognizing that when you put yourself in competition or comparison mode, your confidence is going to be killed each and every time. Okay. I call it being the CEO of your confidence, Chief Executive Officer. You are the one making all of the plays. You are the one helping to guide the ship. And when you become the CEO of your quiet confidence, it means that you have mastered your mindset, your emotions, and your actions. And this is the one thing that I want you to remember. Becoming the CEO of confidence is going to require you to take action and step outside of your comfort zone. It's going to require you to take action over your mindset, over your emotions, and over your actions. Because there really is a thing called false confidence and real confidence. Okay. And by a show of hands, or drop it in the chat. Okay. If there is a loud person that walks into the room and you feel like they are super flashy, do you think that they are self confident or self conscious? Self confident or self conscious? You know that person that walks in the room and they're like, hey, look at me, look at me. Because confidence is not cocky either. Cockiness is a whole other thing that I personally have like no patience for. You're right. It is a self conscious person because they need to be seen. Their ego needs to be fed. They need people to acknowledge them. And granted, we all have needs in our life. We all have needs. In the five love languages, you can learn what your primary set of needs are. Do you need words of affirmation? Do you need physical touch? Do you need gifts? Do you need service? And I forget what the fifth one is. Um, but everybody has different needs. And so, like when you go back to Julia Roberts, so think about your mindset, your action, and your emotions. Okay. So Julia Roberts, her mindset is that beauty emanates from within. And when you have that mindset, it lets you know and it gives you permission that no matter what this looks like on the outside, you might not like what this looks like on the inside, but this is not what makes you beautiful. This is not what makes you beautiful. Jewelry is not what makes you beautiful. Your house is not what makes you beautiful. Your mindset is that beauty is within. And then whenever you do that, it creates different action steps for you. Whenever you recognize that that true beauty and that true confidence comes from within, you stop trying to do one of my favorite sayings that I say, you stop trying to polish a turd. Okay, you just can't make it look any better, and you definitely can't make it smell any better. Like it is just what it is. Like mindset and action. You're not going to spend a whole ton of time trying to polish everything and make everything look perfect because you want everybody to like you. Because when you have that true confidence from within, you already like yourself. And is it nice to have validation from others? Of course it is. That's just a bonus play. But it doesn't mean that you are not confident because somebody, or that you did a bad job because somebody did not tell you. And so whenever you do that, you really begin to take control of your emotions. And Julia Roberts, she always focuses on the positive aspects of life and not negative experiences. Another action step she takes is that she eats a healthy diet. She eats fruits, lean proteins, veggies, and whole grains. And another thing that she has is really strong family values. Okay, so that's her as a person. But in her professional world, she's actually perceived as being difficult to work with. I have had people say that to me as well. And the funny thing about that is that she holds back from being too friendly in the professional world because that's the role that she's playing. Just like when I'm in my professional mode, it is a different version of me. Like this Rebecca here is a whole lot different than date night Rebecca, than girls brunch Rebecca, than family vacation Rebecca. They're all different versions of me, and I'm confident in each one of those roles. And so when people say that I'm difficult to work with, I say I completely understand. I do have very high expectations, and I oftentimes forget that people's brains don't work the way that I do. So if you would extend me some grace and help me understand what it is that you need from me you're not getting, I can adapt. Okay. So I give them permission to be exactly who they are. I encourage them to speak to me because I have that confidence, you know? Like the Harvard study on happiness is all about social fitness and relationships. And because we've been conditioned to seek each external validation, when real confidence is an inside job, when we show up in social relationships, we don't always know how to show up because we're seeking that external validation and we've never fully ignited that confidence spark within ourselves, you know? And so when it comes to being the CEO of your confidence, it means you bring clarity, execution, and ownership. Clarity, execution, and ownership of your confidence. You get clear, you execute positivity, and you take ownership of you. Ownership of you. And there are three big lessons from the framework and concept that I built called Confidology, the study and daily practice of confidence. And the first one is that confidence is a daily practice. It's not a trait. It's not something you're born with. It is a daily practice. It is something that you have to condition yourself. It is built through action, but more importantly, what's going on inside, what you hear, what you think, and what you surround yourselves with. It's one of the reasons why I am creating a 25-day Confidology journal that will help you identify how to honor your unique identity and personality on a daily basis. It's going to make you aware of how your personality traits shift from day to day based on the environments and situations that you're surrounded with. And just like athletes train daily, I think we have like a little college basketball like finals. I'm not sure if we're to the final four, but I know we got like the thing in Vegas going on. I know we have the brackets. That's really all I know about it. But those athletes have been training daily. They don't just show up at that stage of the game. No, they have been training, they have been conditioning, they've been playing games, they've been winning games, they've been losing games, they've been eating the right food, they've been listening to the right things, they've been talking to the right people, they've been going to the right places, they've been focusing on their strengths. And I want to ask you a question. Self compassion is a big part of confidence. And I want to ask you right now, are you as nice to yourself as you are to others? Are you as nice to yourself as you are to others? Because that really is like a whole reality check right there. Because if you're not as nice to yourself as you are to others, I want you to begin to challenge those negative thoughts. And I want you to focus on your strengths. And your strengths can be something as simple as like, I'm an organized person. I'm a positive person. I'm a nice person. Focus on those daily strengths and write those down. Start creating goals for yourself. And a lot of times we get overwhelmed with goals because we're like, you know, we could be like, Brock, I want to write a book. Okay. Well, guess what? This book was broken down into smaller goals, and they looked like coming up with a title. Let's get a title for this book. Let's get like some chapter topics for this book. And then what are we going to put inside of this book? And you start building out that outline. That outline then becomes a book. And Brock, just like he was doing that, he began to execute new daily actions. Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need to move your body. Maybe you need to practice mindfulness and gratitude. But more than anything, I want you to build positive relationships, confident relationships. Remember that mindset, action, and emotions in your environment? Think about the people in your life and what did they do for your mindset, your actions, and your emotions? Are they supportive and do they build you up? Do you have people that you can get feedback from that is a positive and uplifting and guiding and nurturing? and correcting when needed. And when you practice active listening, like genuine interest in others' lives, Brock wrote a whole chapter about active listening and turning scripts into conversation. So even if you're not in the sales process and you want a crash course on how to active listen, snag the book. There's a whole chapter into it because you're listening to understand, not to respond. And like I said, true confidence is built through social fitness. Back to that Harvard study, it's positive social relationships. And building those gives you confidence in yourself and it gives you confidence in others. Okay. The relationships that we nurture either fuel or drain our confidence. And that Harvard study, it proves that happiness and confidence come from who we allow in our lives. And so, are the people in your lives causing you to be loud or are they causing you to be quiet? Do you have to keep explaining yourself? Do you have to constantly be the wrong one? Do you constantly have to be the right one? Because I say this to say that every change that you make in life will challenge the circle that you are around. It's going to test your friendships, it's going to test your family relationships. And I want you to keep this very important sentence in mind. Every person that is tested in this season of your life, if they fail a test, they are not a bad person, right? Okay, because God made them, God made you. Nobody is better than anybody. We all just are. Because some people can be aligned with and resonate with a less confident or a different version of me and you. But in our next season, they don't embrace that more confident or newer version of us. And that's okay. I don't want any of our confidence to be shaken for too long because not everybody can go with you on every path it is that you take in life, on every step of the ladder. Because in every season, every step of the ladder that we go, I allow people to react and to respond to who it is that I've become. They get to decide whether or not they're going to the next level with me. I don't have to make that decision. I don't want to make that decision. And the reason why I didn't have to make that decision is because there's a quiet confidence in myself. That spark is there. My confidence is where I find my safety. My confidence is where I fully lean into who I am and what God created me to do. And in doing that, I'm able to lean into who others are and what path they were created to walk. So confidence says that Rebecca loves herself so much that she only allows people who believe in her and want her to win to have a higher level of access as I go up that ladder. Confidence says Rebecca doesn't want to have to fight for validation. I don't have to force myself to do or say things I don't want to do just so I can please someone else. Confidence says two major things that I want you to see me for me and to celebrate me. And number two, I am okay, and my sense of self-worth is not damaged if you do not see me for who I am and you strictly tolerate me. And so I always ask myself, like, what does quiet confidence filled with love look and feel like? What does family look and feel like? What do friendships look and feel like? Because many times in life, as on this level of confidence, we are loyal to people and we allow people, we try to take people on that journey with us strictly because of the title or role they play in our life. Okay. We're loyal to people because they have a title or role in our life, even if they're not actually living up to the title or role that we keep calling them. Again, what does it look like? What does it feel like to be a family member of mine? What does it look like? What does it feel like to be a mentor of mine, a friend of mine? And so it's like, if you're my friend, if you're my family, then I should see certain behaviors. If you're my friend, I should see certain behaviors because your behaviors tell me if you are safe or not. And trust and respect are the bedrock of any relationship for me. And I have so much confidence in myself that if your behaviors are not in alignment with how I define family or friends and my trust or my respect is broken, then I will move around you. And when that happens, it's the control alt delete button, because I take control of my IP, my identity, and my personality. I alternate the people, the places, and the things in my life, and I delete. I change the roles that I allow others to play in my life. I don't kick people out of my life. I still have friendships with people. They've gone from close friendships to now they're more like an arm's length friendship. Same thing with family members, because sometimes it's the people that are closest to us that get stuck with an idea that we're supposed to stay the same because they're comfortable staying the same. And true life and happiness is not like that. Confidence is about knowing who you are, owning it, and refusing to let anyone taking that power away from you. And one final thought for today is that confidence is not about being the loudest in the room. It's about walking into the room and owning that space without saying a word, letting that flame that is ignited from within to shine. And so I want to ask you today, what is one step that you can take to become the CEO of your confidence? Because it is an inside job. If anybody wants to come off mute and share what is one step that they can take today. I see you're coming over here, Jada. I have people like that or act that way currently. Yeah. Yeah. Feeding the positive dog. Yeah, you have to. You really have to, because people like say you can't always go up the ladder. You know, when you think about Tim Story gave this example in one of our World Shaker sessions, and it was about buoys. Okay, so buoys are those little things that float, and you can tie your boat up to them. So if you think of yourself as a boat and you're tying up to somebody, each buoy only has a certain weight, which is not something that he pointed out. Okay, he pointed out that buoys get barnacles on them, and sometimes those barnacles can deteriorate it. But I want to build on that just a little bit, because a buoy, they come in different shapes, they come in different sizes. And if you are a mega yacht trying to get up on a buoy that was made for a dinghy, you are not going to be in the right place. You're going to drift out to sea. You are going to drift out to sea. That little tiny buoy is it's not going to hold you. It's not going to center you. It's not going to give you any confidence. Thank you for that, Alicia. Colorado represents different messages. It definitely does. It definitely does. Yes, we have a typo on that. All right, Miss Michelle, what you got?
Hey, I just wanted to, I've been like Brock writing my notes down, and one of the things that really struck me is when you said develop positive, confident relationships. And, this is something that stemmed out of Coach Burt in his, um, let's see, person of interest training. And one of the recommendations he said, there are lots of people here, get to know somebody. Uh, uh, Tap in. And I think this is an opportunity for us in this group. I touched base one day with John Hart, and he pointed me to someone else. And we're going to have this amazing author on Friday, Emberly Lago. And when you step in and introduce yourself, one of the things that she also expresses is the relationships are so important. And sometimes you don't even think about that this person could really be of interest or want to be interested in me. Why would they want to talk to me? Well, don't be afraid, be confident, step out and say hello, and you'll be amazed.
Exactly, Michelle, because just it ties into that Harvard study on it is social fitness, but a lot of times, like I say, we let that ego get in the way, and then we have our imposter syndrome that takes over, and we think, oh my gosh, if we say hi to them and they don't like me, then I'm going to die, I'm going to be neglected, and our nervous system takes over. And learning true confidence is learning how to fight back against that. That's the stages of of the ego. So thank you for that share. Yes, we do need to get to know each other, have conversations with each other. I thank each and every one of you for joining us today for another session of Wednesday Wisdom with yours truly, Rebecca Black. It was a privilege. Anybody who wants to connect with me, you can email me, Rebecca at RebeccaBlack.io. I will see you again tomorrow for the Sauce of Life with Mr. Derek. Allergies, the pollen is real, y'all. The Sauce of Life with Mr. Derek Green. See ya.